Okay, I'm gonna get started right now. Oh yeah, and then can you cut it more? Hey, I have these little things here.
Are you mic'd up yet?
Oh no, not yet. Anyway, I have these things. Somebody was asking about it. You know, you can put the seeds in there, and you put the soil in it, and you put it in a plastic bag, and then you put water in it. But we're gonna go through that. Macrorhizae. Well, I got the plugs from my master gardener. John Mudd is his name. And last night, Army and I were putting in little pots like this so they won't dry up. And you just take them out and then you put them in the soil. You let them get a little stronger and bigger, and then you put them in the soil. Here's the list I have of them. Yeah, I have arugula. You know arugula, right?
I love arugula.
Yeah, you can grow your own arugula. That's easy to grow. And then we have broccoli and broccoli purple. Yeah, chervil. Chervil is chervil. That's a herb.
No, you don't have to sign in for this class.
Am I on mic? Okay. Anyway, and then we have Gaillardia. And Gaillardia is good for butterflies. Gaillardia. Got a lot of those. Like these are Gaillardia. They attract butterflies and they're real fragrant. And so's petunias, and we have gerberas. You know, gerberas look like big daisies. And then we have another herb called sage and salvia. Not too much salvia. We have snapdragons, statice. You know statice, the purple flower? Yeah. And it's really drought tolerant. You put them in that and they're really solid. They're really pretty. And then we have that, and then we have valerian. You know valerian? I looked it up because it's a what do you call it? Herb or a pill. Like you can buy valerian to soothe your nerves. So we grow and cauliflower, and we have little leeks right here. Okay, so anyway, it's all right here. Okay, and then we have, did everybody get this? These are little pods in there, right here, look like this. And then you put them in these little trays like this. And then you cover it with soil. You could do it like that. With your other seeds too. See, so what you do is you put where's the potting soil? Oh, right here.
So, Paul, we can take it out of these things, right?
Oh yeah, you take them out of them, and then you put it into a soil like this, into a little tray, and then you do half. You press down, you press down, you press down, and then you put the little seed in here.
And the seed?
Yeah, you put the seed in here, and then you cover it, and then you put this in a little tray with a plastic cover. It's like a little greenhouse.
Plastic cover.
Yeah, like a little bag.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Did everybody hear that? I'm demonstrating how I have some of those trays right there. You can put other seeds too. You could go to the store and buy, those seeds I got, you could start it with that. So what you do is you put soil in here, press down so it's halfway down, then you put the seed in it, and then you press down on it. Okay, and you cover it, and then you soak it in like a solution of I use worm juice, but you soak it, and then you cover it with a plastic bag, and it acts like a hothouse, and you put it on a tray, right? And you keep it watered like that, and then you see, like 2 weeks ago, little things are coming out already.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the wind knocked it over too. Then we had some strong winds that it flew it off, right? And I had to find it. But luckily, a few of them were okay, and then it came out. See, so I have to redo it again because of the dang wind. But this thing works. You put this.
There you can't call. If the bug stays hold to the seed, are those okay still or no good?
They're good.
They're still good. They'll still sprout.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Seeds are okay. Yes.
Excuse me, sir. I have another.
Wait.
Where do you get or how do you make worm juice?
Oh, you have to grow your own worms, and you get a bin, and then you put coconut coir, and then you feed them scraps or you feed them vegetables. I feed them watermelon, rind.
Watermelon.
Anything, cantaloupe, the hammy melon. Yeah.
It's the rock that you put at
Yeah. Oh, there's. I have it here.
If it has one or two holes, it's probably okay.
But anyway, let me get started on it. Let me get started. Am I on, Ron? Norm? Okay. Anyway, right. Okay, Brandon, will you demonstrate?
Sure, what am I demonstrating?
Okay. Okay, this is a tomato. I went to Lincoln Nursery, and I got a Momotaro. Momotaro, that's a really good tomato because it's really tasty, and it's Japanese, and it's really cultivated. Lincoln Nursery, that's on 805 Lincoln Boulevard in Pasadena. That's a really, when you walk in that place, you got to get there early because you spend an hour and an hour go by like that. Yeah, and they close early. They close at 3:30. They open at 7. They close at 3:30. Lincoln Nursery, and in 2 weeks they're going to have all kinds of different tomatoes. I was talking to the gentleman there, and so he had Momotaro, and so I want to demonstrate what I'm going to see. Every year I use a pot. You know, if people don't have a garden, you use a pot, and then the key thing to this is you have a tray here, a reservoir. Okay. So Brandon, will you put soil in here? How about? So you see that on the tomato, there's little white hairs. Those are little roots. So what you want to do is, what I do is I take off this thing. Oh, let's see. See, and the roots are like that. See what? Oh, this is healthy. It's healthy because it's the roots are really getting long.
Paul, can the camera see that?
Okay, and the white roots. And then what I do is I snip off the bottom ones like this. Thank you. Okay, that's Okay, and then I put it in here like this, and. And then I try to fill it up with a lot of soil, right up to here.
What canopy here, Paul?
Oh,
It's like the base of the plant where the root.
Put it up here.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
You put the soil up here, see. See, I like this because then this is actually, yeah, when it catches, see. So when you get a pot like this, if you can find, I found this one and I took it. I found it in the trash.
Gosh, Paul.
Okay, great.
You're so lucky, yeah.
So if you find something like this, because it has already the rim right there, and then when it grows, it grows like this. So I grew maybe about, my last one was a green stripe, and I grew about 25 tomatoes from that.
Wow.
All right. Oh, I also forgot. Right here.
What kind of mulch did you use? Just potting soil?
Potting soil. But here's the key factor, okay? This fella here, Steve Goto, this guy, I gave you that sheet last week, Steve Goto. Okay. He was a friend of mine, and he grew some of the greatest tomatoes. I found out going to the nursery that this was his secret.
What's his secret? This thing?
This is the optimizer. It's called, read it. What, remember? Optimizer.
Soil optimizer.
Optimize. It's called John and Bob's Optimizer. Oh, here, let me.
Is it a powder or is it like
It's granules. Okay, remember last week I told you about what Ralph said about the soil in up near where your brother lives? Remember? I don't know if you remember, but that's where this stuff is mined, and this is remember I said 1 teaspoon had a lot of microbes and a lot of good stuff in it?
Where'd you put it? Just on top of the soil? Yeah, just put it on top. Just mix it on top.
Yeah, you just mix it in there, and then you
Oh my gosh, there's his.
where
What's your coffee? Yeah. Oh God.
and this is good for you.
Paul, that's your
This is good. This is good for you. See, this is a worm juice.
Well, we don't have.
This is a worm juice. It's diluted.
How many pounds is that bag?
Huh?
On the bottom.
And the secret of worm juice has got a lot of microbes. That optimizer has a lot of microbes. If you read the back of it, it says it's from it says it's mined from a unique deposit, leonidite. It's thousands of years old. So just like what the Ralph said, up in the Central Valley of California, they have some really ancient humus and a lot of microbes. And remember I said that 1 teaspoon had like 66,000 microbes in it. So this is the same thing. So that's what that guy, Steve Godo, his tomatoes was so, I used to get so jealous because he gets beautiful tomatoes. And then the fellow told me at the nursery, that's what Steve Godo uses.
So you put that in only one time? One time?
Yeah, you know, like when you, okay, this is what I would do. Like you have your planter bed and you take out the soil and you put a little, maybe 1 scoop of granules in it, and then put your tomato in it, and then cover with soil. Yeah, yeah. And you could also use this thing too. I got this at the nursery, Lincoln Nursery. This is the mycorrhizae. Remember the mycorrhizae? And if you read this, this shows a lot of helps the roots, really. If you put this on your roses or fruit trees, you plant fruit trees, you put a little the mycorrhizae, it creates a lot of microbes and bacteria, and it's a fungi, and it makes all the roots and all the plants stick to it. So
You didn't put that yet on. Are you gonna put it in here?
I could do it, but I put on this soil optimizer.
Optimizer, right?
Uh-huh.
You don't need that.
And then as this gets taller, I put a stick in there, okay, and I tie it. So it's so then what I do is, I won't put it in now, but what I do is I put this reservoir, and this reservoir keeps, because people water from the top and the water seeps out, and then the plant dies or it gets thirsty. But if you keep nutrients in the water, the plant sucks up because the roots go up, right? The water goes up. So I found out that these little trays really make your plants grow. So if you want to grow, if you see a nice little tomato that you like, you get one of these pots with a little tray and then put in the nutrients, and then you have a lot of tomatoes that way. So you don't have to find a garden. But I went over there, and another thing too is in July and in the summer months, that's when the tomatoes get killed because of the heat. All the flowers dry up and they fall down. So the fella told me, and I like these tomatoes too, because anything with color, they're very sweet. Black Krim and Cherokee Purple are very heat resistant. So if you plant those things and it goes into the summer months, hot months, it will continue to grow. But right now is the planting season, because from now the sun's getting stronger and longer, and up until June. After June, you never know, you might get a heat wave, and that's when all the tomatoes get killed. But if you have, if you have that, so Black Krim and Cherokee Purple, and anyway, Sun Gold, anything with color is sweet. Like the cherry tomato Sun Gold is really, that's their fastest seller at the nursery. And a Momotaro, Eiko, and I got Eiko. That was prolific, boy, a lot of tomatoes. And I also got all kinds of different kinds of cherry tomatoes, because I like cherry tomatoes grow a lot. Yep.
Okay, so
sun?
Technically, you can get a cherry tomato, put in the ground, and it'll grow.
What's that?
Cherry
Yeah.
tomato.
Yeah, but you have to add nutrients to the soil.
Okay.
Okay, mycorrhizae, or you put in that optimizer.
One or the other.
Yeah.
Okay.
You could. That's okay. This is a little packet. It's only 3 ounces, and it's $1.99 at the Lincoln Nursery.
Make sure you take the seeds out of the tomato first, though, because it has to dry before the seed will activate. If
Yeah,
it's still
yeah.
wet, it won't activate.
Yeah.
If you have the seed of the cherry tomato, you don't need to dry it already.
Oh yeah, you have to dry it. See what you do. Okay, when you go to tomato testing, I learned this from all these. I call them little nerdy people. You know, they with the toothpicks and the tweezers, and they have paper towels and they have a marker, and they get a paper towel and they write down and they taste it. Oh, it's good. So they pulling the seeds out and they put it and they write on the paper, and they fold it and put it in a plastic bag, put it in their purse or whatever, and then you get the next one. And what they do then is they put that in the refrigerator for 6 months, or like they for the next year. They keep it in the refrigerator, and that what do you call hibernates them.
Oh, so you put, it's okay. to
Yeah.
put it
So like Brandon said, you let it dry, but you let it dry in the refrigerator. And then what you do is you take it and then you put it on a paper towel. You write before you put it in. You write the name with a marker, whatever, and then fold it up, put it in a plastic bag. All right, and then put it in a corner of the refrigerator and say, "Do not touch." All right. So you could grow your tomatoes. So if you go to tomato testing before the this COVID, I used to go to a lot of tomato testings, and that's where you tasted all these tomatoes, these really delicious tomatoes. And I always followed the children, where the parents would yell at the child, "No, you're eating too many." That's the best tomato.
because they're sweet.
That's the best tomato. So if you see the kids eating, then you know it's not tasty. But the tomatoes that are tasty are the ones that are the kids like. And the Sun Gold is the one is one of the best tasting, Sun Gold. And what makes the tomato really good is that when you grow it, it ripens on the vine. The store comes in green and they ripen in a box, so the flavor is not there. There's no sugars in it. So when you take it off the vine, my God, when it's red like that. We have one. I'm letting it get ripened. I have a tomato like about this big. Man, when it gets really red, ruby red, and you cut it off and you slice it, wow, it tastes a lot different than the store-bought, completely different. So
I'm sorry, what was the sun mile, 6 to 8, what's the sun, can you leave it in the sun?
oh, this is in full sun.
Full sun all day?
That's what makes a tomato. See, tomatoes are full sun plants. The more sun they get, the bigger. So if you get if you look for an ox heart tomato or a better boy or a big tomato, you better make sure it's in the full sun from morning until dusk. But cherry tomatoes require half that.
Like this one?
Yeah.
Sun.
Oh,
Says
yeah.
full
Let me put
sun
this in here so I won't forget.
Yeah, that says full sun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Anything. Tomatoes are full sun. Even cherry tomatoes, the more sun they get, like I put the Aco in the full sun. I got so many tomatoes. I have pictures of it. It's crazy. But the thing is, tomatoes need full sun. That's why everything grows really well. And that's why the tomato that I'm growing right now is really small. It normally should be like this, but it's like this because the sun was not long. A very short period of sun.
And how often do you water it? Every day?
No, you just fill this up.
Oh. Okay.
That's why I like it. When the water's
Don't
gone,
worry about mosquitoes.
I don't know. That's why I use worm juice because
The larvae don't like that.
They don't like worm juice.
no, because the larvae eat the. The bacteria eat the larvae. Yeah. So that's why worm juice.
So what happens if we don't have worm juice? What do we put as a?
They sell worm castings.
Yeah, worm castings. Yeah, and then you can make your own juice from worm castings. You can make it like a worm tea. You put the castings in. Yeah. Yeah, grow. But see, I've been growing worms for over 15 years, so. So yeah, I've been up there. So they're pretty hardy, even in the cold. I learned a lot about how to keep worms healthy. The key about worms is that you got to feed them, because worms, they live by movement, and if they don't have any food, they don't move and they die. Right? They dehydrate or they get freeze. But if they're eating, they're always moving because they look like little accordions. And so the more food you put in, like when it's cold, they survive a severe cold, and then or it's dry, they survive because they eat. They're moving.
What's the food?
I give them watermelon, melons. Yeah. Yeah, but I give them. They don't like carrots. They don't like potatoes, but they like melons. So I eat a lot of melons, and sometimes if it's a melons on sale, I just cut it and give them whole. I don't even eat it because it's cheap. But yeah, worms they like, and it's fun. Yeah, and
Where do you keep your worms in?
on the north side of the house, the shady side. Yeah, shady. It's like this. Yeah.
In a tub, and then the juice goes down the bottom.
Yeah. It sips through like that, and then you scoop it up.
Or you can pre-buy the little containers. They have like these little worm housing things, so that the juice basically just drains out into a wet reservoir at the bottom.
Where do you buy the worm? Where do you buy the worm?
Oh, you can buy worm castings at Lincoln Nursery. You have to go to a nursery to buy the worm castings.
Or you buy the worm castings. It's basically worm. It's the same stuff. Yeah, it's called worm casting. So usually it's dehydrated. And it almost looks like a powder. So you can just put it into, you can make it almost like a tea bag, essentially, and use that to breed.
Yeah. But if you use that optimizer or mycorrhizae, I think that's just as good. And you can mix that in water, and yeah.
They have it on Amazon.
But I huh?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You know, these things, do you have to start them in those little things, or can you just drop them into
Yeah, you could drop them in the soil. Well, the only thing is that if you have birds, they love that. They eat it.
I mean, my dog's out there,
Oh, okay.
ferocious little
Yeah, the birds or squirrels or something, they like it. See, that's why you do that. You put the plant, you let the thing grow.
Yeah, I see that, but
And so you can put it in a pot like this. Like I'll show you like this. You could put it in.
All stuff are like pure trick.
You could,
You want to dilute it like
yeah.
yeah,
And then you just put that seed. You put that seed in here.
in there, and then just let it, okay.
Yeah, you just put the little
Okay,
seed.
so yeah, Paul, you start with this, and then what happens? You water it, and then it grows.
You know, you
and then
put
what-
you put soil on top.
Yeah, and then what? And then what?
And then you put this in a tray and you let it soak. Okay, and then you cover it with a plastic bag it becomes like a
Oh, you're talking to.
hothouse, not an outhouse.
What kind of plastic? Just a saran wrap?
Oh no, yeah, saran wrap, or you could use a plastic bag. I use a plastic bag because I can water it. Or a vegetable bag at the supermarket.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's what I use.
you said you put it in. Are you putting this in water?
Yeah, just like one of these, like
Like a
tray,
like
very, it could be like a lid or something of a food takeout container. just
Oh
something
yeah,
very
and then when they
thin
get
or very,
tall like
shallow.
that, you take them.
You just put
Yeah,
that in.
you take them out carefully, and then you put the optimizer, and when you make the hole, and you give it, right, and then you cover, and then
So I could start them in a little.
right,
pot. Okay.
and then what's good too is like horse manure. Okay, what I do, you know, like the key to growing anything, every farmer does it. All right, is they put a mulch over it.
Right.
Like horse manure. So when you water, the water percolates into the soil with all the nutrients, and the soil below it stays cool, and the soil on top dries up, which is the horse manure. No, but I mean, but anything, any kind of mulch, dry leaves, anything like that, dry leaves, you put it on top of around the tomatoes, around the soil, and that way it keeps the soil cooler. Yeah, and then when you water, the water stays, it doesn't evaporate right away. It just percolates into the soil.
Then what's the big difference between, I get at the hardware store, they sell regular potting soil, and then they have vegetable and fruit potting soil.
Yeah.
Is there a big difference?
Oh, not if you add the optimizer.
I see. So,
No, they have some optimized. I mean, some ingredients in it
yeah.
for maybe more nitrogen. Yeah, or maybe more nitrogen or something.
Too much in?
Pardon?
Could you put too much of that stuff in?
No. No.
So it's just better to use regular potting soil and then
Yeah.
add the optimizer.
Right. The optimizer is basically bacteria. It's microbes that enhance the soil. Just like The Ralph's article I gave last week, 2 weeks ago, you take a spoonful and it has 66,000 or 66 million bacteria, microbes. 66 million, that's a lot. So that's where that stuff is mined. It's mined from there. I was looking it up. It's mined from, the headquarters is in Fresno, around Central California. So they look for, they call it ancient humus. And it's been developed, so now it's just full of microbes and bacteria, beautiful for soil. And you notice the best wines are grown in Paso Robles, right? And the Central Valley right there, it's called the fruit basket because of the microbes in the soil. So that's what they do, and that's what the farmers do too. They buy this in bulk, all that stuff, and then they spread it, and then they add microbes to the soil. Because like I said, the soil is what makes plants grow, right? Not water, it's the soil. Water is a conduit that takes the nutrients, the microbes, and puts it into the plant and makes it healthy. So you're always adding nutrients to the soil. So and so I'm gonna put some soil here and then put some the optimizer. Oh, you could just put it in here.
Now what's that called?
That's a tea leaf. But you're welcome to take it. I mean, you can cut it. The tea, you're welcome to cut it. You know, you take a little. I just took a little cutting right here. Tea leaf from Hawaii. Oh, here's a cutter. So you guys could cut any piece you want and stick it in the soil. Yeah, you could cut it.
Can I have one? I came from the Philippines and they said that's a variety of oliva kind of plant. Because there's another color. This is a red. This is green and there's another red.
Oh yeah.
Oliva. We call that oliva.
Oliva.
In the Philippines. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So can I have one?
Sure. Here.
Can I have?
Which one do you want? The little one?
Okay. So what I'm gonna do, sir? I'm just gonna no.
You can stick the whole thing in the soil.
This should be this one because there's this for the roots. For the roots, I want this one.
Oh, you want this one? Sure.
Because there's no because I'm gonna
Okay.
soak it in water.
Okay. Here's another thing too. This is a where is it? Where did I put it? God damn it.
This is the same thing?
Oh, do you see that little white thing? Little
These
white.
are plumerias, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking for this. Okay, where's that little plant?
It's right there.
Okay, now what this little plant, what you do is, see, this is called rooting hormone. Yeah, here, dip this, here. What you do is, you
But I'm trying.
you put a little, this is rooting hormone. And then, can you give her a little?
Like a pot?
Oh, you took that.
Okay, here. Well, that's a little too much.
So would you always put that root, you always dip it in that rooting?
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
it helps encourages the plant to grow the roots. So.
Yep. And then you put a little bit of the, can you put a little bit of that?
Oh, I did already.
On this one?
Optimizer,
Oh,
yeah.
it's in that one.
Oh, put in this one and gave it to her.
Yeah. Because, I mean, you could do it without dipping in the root hormones, but this is kind of like guaranteeing that it'll be happy.
You know that myo thingy?
Myo?
The one you said?
Yeah.
I bought it and you're supposed to dilute it and make it into liquid, right?
Well, it depends on what you buy. Like that one there, the little packet, you can just sprinkle it. See, put that in here.
Oh, thank you, sir. Okay. So you're gonna give this plant.
Oh, yeah. But then you got to change it out of that, because that thing is biodegradable. And like if it's in the sun, it'll fall apart. It'll become like little pieces. It's biodegradable.
This one?
Huh?
The plastic?
Yeah, but it's biodegradable. It falls apart in the sun. And
Oh.
so you put it in like this. Okay, and then the next thing I want to show you is a plumeria. Same principle. Where's the pot? Oh, here. And see, I used a screen here, to fill up the holes. Old screen. An old screen. You know, in other words, I recycle everything. An old screen.
Yeah. The tool. We call that.
Yeah. You want to dump all the soil in here?
Yeah, sure.
Hey, literally, I'm going to be changing my screens one day. I should save the screen.
Otherwise, see how it dumps down on the side.
Right here. No.
Yeah, you could do that. Sure. But I'm saying that if you get a cutting, well, I need some more soil. But this is what I do with my plumeria. I stick this in here. I stick in a rooting hormone like this. And then I add the optimizer. Or mycorrhizae. This mycorrhizae is good for tomatoes because tomatoes are a lot of roots. You saw the roots on that, right? So that mycorrhizae will make all your tomatoes grow. The same thing with this. So I got to add some more, but I'm saying you put it in like this. Take off the leaves because they're dying. They're old. Oh, okay. And then I need some more soil, but that's how you do it. So you
From the Philippines.
wait a minute, I can't understand that. What was that?
I'm from the Philippines, and we have the belief that if you plant a stem, you have to scrape the lower part of the stem.
Uh-huh.
Do you believe in that? You scrape some part of this.
What?
You don't
Oh.
need anymore.
No, I just cut it and I just stick it in the
That's
ground.
what I believe because.
Oh, really?
Yeah. If we don't have the.
Well, you need the stem. Yeah, of course. You need
If
the
we don't
base.
have the rotting powder or any things to help the plant to come out the root, we scrape this part and then we just soak it in water, and then after a week there are white ones are coming out already, and that's growing up like roots already. And
Oh.
that's the time we planted.
Oh, okay. So you could take.
And then you give to me. Okay, I'm gonna try it.
You want?
No, I didn't know you could do that. I have about 4 tea plants at my house.
Well, really, you could
My
multiply.
red one died.
Oh, no. The red one is good.
You could stick this in the ground too, and it'll grow.
Okay, I'm gonna give it to my sister.
You just stick that in the ground, and it'll grow. It's amazing. It's like a plumeria. The plumeria. You,
I'll transplant some of those because I have ones. They're
The big
they're
one.
almost as high as this thing.
yeah.
Find the red one. It's good. The color.
Yeah, you know, we got a little plumeria like this, like this plant, right there in that pot there. About 20 years ago, my goofy sister-in-law, at the last minute, she needs to get a gift for her parents. So she goes in the gift store in Honolulu Airport, and it's a little stem like that, little plastic package. She paid like $5 for it, right? That thing, my wife gets it, and she goes, oh boy, and she puts it in the ground and spaces it. Now that thing is a tree. It's as tall as this. Yeah, that little thing. That little thing. And that's an Angus red. That's an Angus red, the Angus red. So you could take a little piece like that and grow it. In Monterey Park or Alhambra, the soil is good. I think your neck of the woods, the soil is good. It needs good draining soil. So,
Some of our soil is really clayey, some is kind of sandy.
oh, then you got to add. You have to add nutrients to it. Yeah. So,
That's how we call it.
like our soil up in La Crescenta is so sandy, and it's like a duck's back. When I moved up there, I poured water on it, and it flowed right off into the sidewalk. It was so sandy. So now I have one of the best soils because Brandon can attest to that. I put a lot of horse manure. A lot of horse manure. So everything's growing. We grew plants. Also, who's into bare root roses? Anybody likes bare root roses? Because Aldi's is selling them right now for $8.99. Anything under $10 is a damn good price for bare.
Yeah. Yeah, they sell all kinds of things there.
They're-
Wait. Repeat that. No.
They sell bare root roses.
Yeah, all these
Aldi's.
Yeah, because Aldi's doesn't.
Aldi's.
Yeah, Aldi's is a grocery chain, but they don't only sell groceries. They have sections where, especially during the seasonal times, when they will purchase a whole bunch of certain
Yeah.
products
We
like
bought-
roses
I
or
bought
tulips
20.
and that kind of stuff. So they do
Bare
have
root
gardening
roses.
things every now and then. So you just have to kind of be aware of, kind of check in and see what they're having on sale and stuff. Because when they do have it, it's usually far cheaper than anywhere else.
You have a lot of
So-
room, don't
No,
you?
yeah.
I know. He sounds he's got a farm.
Well,
Well, he has a hill.
well, yeah, and I transformed it here. I did the Japanese style. I terraced it. You know, put the rocks in and terraced it.
Time on your hands.
No, man. Time, man. I can't do that now. I'm too old. But I had to lift these rocks and then sort the rocks. And I used a lot of leverage. So it was a slope like this, and then I terraced it with like that and made steps.
So then if you bought more roses and you added to your present rose,
Yeah. Because some of these roses are really nice, like heirloom, cardinal 95, and they're really like proud lamb. They're real fragrant and real different colors. Did you know that when a rose, okay, when you see a rose there, like iceberg, okay, for a rose to become saleable, they first start off, and I went to a class. The fella was up there in the Central Valley. His company grows roses. They take 50,000 varieties, and then they weed it down. And they look for disease, color, the thorns, beauty, the shape of the flower. And they weed it down. So 50,000, they weed it down to like four. And I went, 4? Like that, I went, 4? Wow. So every time he says, you see like Lincoln, you see Princess Diana, you see heirloom and all that. Those are roses that have been selected. So because of disease and color and beauty. So they really, really go through so a lot of guys, and then if the person, then they get a royalty. You know, they get the name for royalty. So they keep trying, but so they have to graft it, and it's really interesting how those guys are they're almost real scientific how they figure it out. And they were telling me funny stories where you would think the ugly rose and a stupid rose, and they put together, and out came out a beautiful rose that's selling, and so you never know. They said, so roses, when you see a rose in the store, it's all been selectively all the way down, and they want to put good roses that are disease resistant, and they could last. California is the rose climate of the world. We could bloom every year, every month. And then England and New York, or if you go, I went to the Rose Garden in Hershey, Pennsylvania, and I talked to the curator, and he said that they bloom in summer. And other than winter, they cut them down, and then because it's cold. But here, we just cut them.
when do you prune your roses?
Right now. Right now.
And you
You can prune them anytime. Brandon, man, he went to town on one on my yard, and they're all big now again. Yeah, see, they get rejuvenated.
Yeah, they just cover back, so it's not an issue.
Yeah, no, but as long as the soil's good.
How do you cut them out? Is there a pruning class maybe?
Well, you cut them. You cut them. You know, like here's the thing: you want the roses to grow like this, right? So you don't want them to grow like that. So you cut wherever the weaker one is that crosses over. You want them to go straight out like this. You don't want them to crisscross like that, unless it's a bush. So you cut them like that, and then you cut off the dead ones, the dead branches, right? And then you have to use shears to cut off whatever, and then you feed them. And I feed them Epsom salt solution. Roses like Epsom salt solution.
What's the Epsom salt with water?
Yeah, diluted. You know, I soak my feet and then I clean it and it feels good.
You use that water?
Yeah, I do.
Are those the ones
Yeah, yeah, better than word juice.
they're the ones that wilt your roses?
Oh man, to sit there, relax. Okay, now my roses they need it. No, but they need. And then they use plumerias like it too. Plumerias like little diluted worm juice.
Epsom salt too?
Yeah, it's not a salt. It's a magnesium sulfite.
Yeah, Epsom, but Epsom, you buy it in that. In
Yeah, any kind. Any.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is your
portion?
What's your portion?
Oh, I just got a little handful, like for your feet.
To a gallon of water?
Yeah.
Like to
It's
a gallon?
like that little like that. Soak your feet. Ah.
And it actually
And then-
helps your roses.
Huh?
It really helps your roses.
Oh man, you see like huh? You know, they get
I
really.
don't have to buy expensive roses.
No. You could see the thing is rose food. You buy something that you can feed your plants, feed your tomatoes, feed your veggies, and feed roses. And that's like the optimizer or the mycorrhizae, like that. So those things are really. See, the thing is, what the rose food is doing, they're putting bacteria in the soil. That's bacteria that roses like iron and they like the sulfites, and so they do really well. Magnesium, they love magnesium. And if you feed if you have an avocado tree, you feed.
Maybe they like your feet, not the salt.
Good smell. But you sit there, let's go, man. You sit there and oh man, your feet get clean, your toes, and it feels so good. They're so smooth, and then you just feed the plants.
Did you say avocado tree like Epsom salt too?
Yeah, because they like magnesium. They need magnesium.
Do you do it for like a gallon of water and then you drop it in there? Is that
Yeah, just a handful, and then, yeah, whatever.
Can you put that? Does that optimize your? Does that?
Yeah, you could dissolve that, whatever you could do it. But I just put that in. When I'm going to plant, I'm going to put a handful, a little scoopful, and then put the plant in it, and then I surround it.
Once you've planted, do you feed your plants?
Oh yeah. I feed it worm juice, and then I throw in a little mycorrhizae and things like that. Here's the thing. Last year I had a great crop, and all my other people, tomato growers, were complaining that, like Brandon, they had red mite, or what do you call it? Yeah, spider mites.
Oh yeah, spider mites. Yeah, I lost spider mites last year.
I didn't have any spider mites, and my tomatoes just grew. And I was talking to the nursery guy, and he asked me a lot of questions. He was asking me a lot of questions, and I said I didn't have any spider mites. What'd you do that was different from it? Because he had spider mites, and I said I used worm juice, diluted worm juice, and I sprayed it and I fed my plants. And he's thinking about it. And he goes, "Damn, that's right." And then there was a woman behind me just listening like that because she had problems with her tomatoes last year. So that worm juice, I pour it like this on the leaves like this. See, watch out. You're gonna grow.
I'm going to smell like a worm.
But what the worm juice does is it has a lot of microbes in it, and the microbes go after the larvae. They go after the flea larvae, the whitefly larvae, the spider mite larvae, the little guys, and they eat the larvae, and they cut the cycle. So 4 days you have the larvae, you have the varmints, the pests. Then suddenly they're gone because the cycle is gone, and then they never come back. So, and then the soil's healthier
So
too.
even if you buy that one, that powder that you dilute the worm sugar.
Yeah, yeah.
What was that called again?
Worm
Mycorrhizae?
casting, or the worm casting.
Optimizer?
The worm thing.
Worm casting.
Oh, worm casting.
Yeah, worm casting.
See, worm casting, if you get that worm casting, then you soak it in water, you could do that. You can make a worm tea
Yeah.
out of it,
Yeah.
right? So what I do is also, I take some of the coconut coir and where all the worms pee and pooped in it, and I mix that into certain plants. Like I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put some in here and put the little seeds and see what it does. So you experiment and you learn how to do things. Did you know today's scripture was really interesting about this? Huh? Yeah, it said. Yeah, it said a tree bears fruit if it gets cared for, right? And so it also said after that, then if your person's mind is healthy too. So if you notice, the farmers in the Midwest and that, they're very godlike, or because they rely on up there to grow their veggies, right? And they're so busy taking care of growing plants and studying. And then the other scripture too, like he says, a rotten tree won't grow good fruit, but a good tree won't grow rotten fruit. So if you tend to things, and the thing is, if you're angry, gardening calms you down, because you start looking at the plants. You start forgetting, hey, how come it's dying? Right? You forget about it. So that's why gardening is really soothing for the soul. And I really, that today's scripture was kind of like, wow, you know, so
Appropriate.
yeah. So it was very interesting. So plants are delicate, and when you grow something like a flower, and you see like the gerbera right here, when you see that thing grow up like that, oh, it's so beautiful. We have 2 gerberas, and man, when they grow, they're so pretty, and people just look at it on the street, you know, wow, what is that, right? And then the status, you cut the status, and you decorate your flower arrangements, or take it to the cemetery, stick it with the roses. That's a good filler, status. And we have status, and then salvia. Salvia is edible and is very healthy. And then we also have snapdragons, and we have sage and chervil. That's both our herbs. And we have arugula. Arugula is fun to grow. Right now, in the hot sun like that, you put arugula. You could grow it in a pot, but if you put all that stuff in there, and then things grow like crazy. It's nice to cut it. You just cut it, and then it grows back again. Yeah, arugula. You don't pull it out. You cut it, and then it comes out again. It's right here.
My father is a farmer. That's why I have an idea in planting.
Uh-huh.
We plant every seed, and then we wait it, and then that's our food already. We plant seed, peanut, sesame seed.
God.
My father is.
Yeah.
We make the sugar cane. We plant the sugar cane, and we make the wine.
He's got a big yard.
We have a small. Yeah, it's just to work on it before.
Yeah.
It's enough for the family.
Yeah.
To live in that. Yeah. You plant corn, mongo. I know. I have an idea about planting. That's why I
So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to stick this in the soil and see if it grows. And it will grow. I'm going to put the rooting and put all that stuff and put it in the soil. Huh? Yeah. So that's pretty. And it's Hawaiian.
So it gets does it get a red flower?
Yeah.
It's
It gets a red flower, huh? Tea leaf.
okay, so Paul.
What kind of flower? Oh, no. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's just very nice. It's like a plumeria, but plumeria has flowers.
Once it starts growing up, do I put it in the ground? Can I put it in the ground?
Yeah, you can put that around the ground, good area.
With some optimizer then too, in the ground?
Yeah, you put that in the ground like that, optimizer. See,
I just dipped it in there.
So when you go to a nursery, you ask a lot of questions, and then the one I mentioned, the Lincoln Nursery, they have all these unusual flavored tomatoes. They have unusual flavored tomatoes. Okay, and you could ask for all these tomatoes. So if you get it. So, but they also have chilies, really unusual chilies, and they have unusual eggplants.
Oh, I love eggplant.
So yeah.
And that's right in our neighborhood. It's in, where is it, Pasadena? Is it Lincoln?
Yeah, Lincoln. You get off Lincoln Boulevard, and you make a left, and you go right on Lincoln. You go past underneath the freeway again, and it's about 3 blocks. You go underneath the freeway again, the 210. But yeah, it's Lincoln Nursery, but they close at 3:30.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. So anyway, you're welcome to all these plants here.
Okay, so what?
They're all marked. They're all marked. You're welcome to it. This is arugula here, guys. This is arugula.
Oh, it is right there. Here's our Pacific.
Oh, on the side.
Yeah, you're welcome to all the plants.
Thank you. It's on the side.
You can take as many as you want. See, they were plugs. They grew out of that little tray.
You want a sage?
They grew out of the little tray, and then they're plugs. And then so what you do is you feed it, and then you let it grow. This one you can put into a nice pot. I'm gonna stick that in the ground. You want it? You want it?
No, I don't. I have one.
Oh, hey, yeah. You just cut it,
I didn't know you could cut it and do this to it.
and then put a rooting hormone and stick it in the ground. You know, Hawaiian plants, anything tropical, they multiply like crazy.
Well, mine did too. But I didn't know you could cut it, and it's like tall. It's like this one big thing all the way up to
Yeah, and you just cut it,
So
and
I
then
could
you
just
stick
cut
it,
I could cut it down.
and you
huh?
could put it in a pot like that, and then on a garage sale sell it.
Broccoli?
Yeah, broccoli, and you have purple broccoli.
We need one of your.
Well, use one of the trays. Use one of those trays. Use one of those trays. You can take as many as you want, you know.
What is this, sir? I'm very.
Garlandia.
What is this?
It's like butterflies like it, and it's kind of like a daisy kind of row of flowers. A lot of flower on that one.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it to one of the
You got snapdragons, and you have, and I wrote down like Garlandia. It's daisy-like.
Pitonia is bearing flowers.
Oh yeah.
It's a rubus. Is it rubus?
You know, you should get a bunch of petunias. You put a petunia, you let it grow and get bigger, and then you put it in a basket.
Butterfly.
It's good.
And you put it in a basket, and then the petunias go like this. They grow like this. They drape. They go like they cover the basket.
Okay. Okay. So this one too, but it bears fruit and bears flower.
Yeah.
Oi.
Uh-oh. Hey, why don't you get a box? Let me see if there's a box in there.